Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer, out on another walk, a second walk with the lovely Dave Ford. Hello Dave.
Hello Richard, hello everybody.
In our previous walk, if you were watching, you would have noticed we walked around the wonderful village of Stedham, which was near Midhurst in West Sussex. We're doing something different today.
We are, yes. We're still on the outskirts of Stedham, where Stedham Mill used to be, and we're going to do a little wander along the banks of the River Rother and end up in the village of Iping.
It sounds brilliant. Behind us, roaring, is the river itself, and it's going at such a torrent because it's quite high.
Yes, well, we had yesterday, it was pretty miserable weather-wise around this neck of the woods. The storm Freya was doing its worst. So, yes, it's quite an aggressive-looking river today. So we're based here. This is the site of where Stedham Mill used to be. It was demolished in 1927. It was used mainly to make blotting paper.
Yes, that's quite weird, isn't it? Blotting paper. You don't think of mills. I mean, you hear of paper mills, but I wouldn't have thought there was that much call for blotting paper. But every time you wrote something in the old days, you used to blot it.
I guess so. However, the mill house, which is this very impressive building behind us, is still here.
It made a lot of money then, this mill, didn't it?
Yeah.
It must have done. It's a very beautiful house.
He did have quite a famous resident here, a chap called Commander Norman Holbrook, who in 1914, when he was 26, he became the first member of the Royal Navy to be awarded the Victoria Cross.
Oh, right.
He was a submariner, and I believe, from memory, his act of bravery was he dived below about 5 rows of mines and then sank a Turkish battleship. So quite a brave chap.
Yeah.
But he lived there, and he died in 1976, and he's buried up at the church.
Wonderful, yeah. Wonderful. So we're gonna sort of follow the river up to Iping.
Indeed.
Let's get cracking. After you. So Dave, we're leaving the mill house.
Yeah.
And the wonderful full river, and making our way up towards Iping, coming up into a large open field.
Yeah, this field is often used for growing potatoes, because obviously potatoes need a lot of water.
Ah, yes.
The farmer's got a license to take water from the river. So we're just going to do a little wander along the banks of the River Rother. The River Rother itself it sort of flows west to east across the sort of western side of West Sussex. It's 32 miles long. It starts actually in the village of Empshot near Liss, which is your old hunting ground.
Yes, I was born
Yeah.
in Liss,
Yeah.
that's right. I don't remember anything from my childhood because I was only born there and then whisked away.
And then it ends officially at Stedham near Pulborough, where it joins up with the
just go down onto here so we can see a little bit of it.
River,
So it
River
joins.
Arun, I think.
Oh yes, that's right. At Stedham, that's right.
So
You can see that there's these little positions here for fishing all along.
it's a funny sort of a river, and if you look on a map, it really is quite windy. And I mean, I'm not a great sort of expert on rivers, but it floods fairly regularly at various points along the route, and you can see why, because you look at this field.
Yes.
When it rains, which it did yesterday, the water just literally sort of pours off, and it's a very sandy soil, so
It goes straight into it. Yeah, it's all coming
but,
down.
again, a lot of it is natural. It's a natural floodplain, a lot of it along here.
And it is in a bit of a valley, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's on I mean, obviously being a river, I suppose it's at the lowest point.
Yeah.
So our destination, Iping, is, I believe, is that the home of the Hamilton family?
That's right. Yes, the Iping's a much smaller village than Stedham, and the Hamilton family, they were the sort of lords of the manor at the time, and we will come across Iping House. I'm guessing that bit of metal there is used by the farmer to take water out for the irrigation, I guess.
Let's have a
I just
big...
spotted it there.
Yes, no, it's an interesting... It's not something that you see every day.
No.
But turn that lever and no doubt a whole load of water will come squirting out.
Logan?
Well, Dave, that's an impressive sight, isn't it?
It is, yes. That's the the back of Stedham Hall, which
and it's just the back. Gosh.
yeah, it was built in the 16th century, and it was home of the Lord of the Manor of Stedham. The Scrimgeour family bought it in either 1910 or 1915, something like that. But the estate was wound up and lotted up in the 1950s, I think. So now it's just split into 8 residential units, I think.
Gosh, I mean, it's all, you know, it's nice. If you live there, that must be fantastic.
Yeah.
But it's almost sacrilege, isn't it, that you've got this wonderful big building that it's now independent dwellings.
That's right.
But at the same time, it's quite nice because more people can enjoy it.
Yeah, and that's just the back of it as well.
I know.
But what a lovely view they've got. They've got the Rother, and then although you can't see, we've got
beautiful fields.
That's Iping Stedham Common up. Pound Common. Pound Common. Yes,
right.
In that direction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, lovely setting.
Beautiful manicured gardens, aren't they, as well? That sort of tumble down towards the river, which makes it just very elegant. And then the river here, as we've said before, which is quite high, is terrific. And of course, you mentioned in the other video, from the front, there's a little doorway to the church, St. James's Church.
That's right. Yeah. So the Lord didn't have too far to go. He had his own little doorway to the church. Yeah.
Lovely.
But, he was so he did a lot for the village. Obviously, owned a lot of the village properties, but he was quite popular.
Yes. So we're going to carry on along the Rother.
We're going to head in that direction, which is and
how far is it from where we started to Iping?
It depends how quickly we walk.
In terms of distance,
a mile. Yeah. It's not too far.
No.
It's a nice gentle stroll. But we're going to go over Stedham Bridge and through Bridgefoot Farm.
And that is a lovely looking old stone bridge.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Shall we crack on?
Yeah, let's go.
So we've just left the river temporarily.
Yeah, we're just coming now past what was Bridgefoot Farm.
Oh yes, let's have a look at these
It
old.
used to be an old dairy farm, and then
You can
many
see
years
why.
ago it was converted to stables, which is where I used to keep my horse. It's now a residential place. It used to be 2 cottages, but it's lovely. They've still got the
milk churns.
the old milk churns, which obviously was where they would have been originally when it was a dairy.
So you would have come up here from the village and collected your milk churns?
Yeah, in those days, yeah.
Across the bridge that we're going to see in a minute?
Yeah.
I can see the bridge ahead of us, and it's like one of those old stone pack horse bridges, isn't it? I do love them, and it's very picturesque.
So we've got a row of 5 cottages just on the left, which are Bridgefoot cottages, and I don't remember whether it was this one or the one on the far side used to be where the blacksmith used to live. And then we're coming to the bridge now.
They are very, very picturesque, aren't they? I mean, it's a very beautiful area.
There's probably just one little downside to living here, in that it regularly floods the River Rother, particularly here, and the bridge we're going over, at least once a year it gets covered. I mean, the river's quite high today, as we'll see when we go over.
Yes, it's hard to believe that the river could actually get that high so that it comes across here.
So we've been so far been on the north side, so we're going to cross over now and go on the right hand side, and there's a little sign. What have we got written here?
Oh yeah, here we go. Have a look at this. County of West Sussex, notice to engine drivers. Notice is hereby given that locomotives are not allowed to stand on any part of this county bridge by order of West Sussex County Council, 1912. Heavens, and there we are looking downriver. We've left the bridge, as you have seen. We've just passed a whole series of rather beautiful oak trees, which clearly were planted. I think is possibly a boundary.
That's right, and we said goodbye to the river just for a little bit. It sort of wanders around this field here, and we're just about to drop into the village of Iping and Iping Bridge. But Yeah, and it wasn't too muddy, was it?
No, it was very beautiful actually. It's a very lovely walk.
Yeah.
Here we are wandering across this beautiful countryside, and it never lets you down, does it, the English countryside?
No. So the village of Iping is much smaller than Stedham. The name Iping, again, that's Anglo-Saxon. I think it just there was a chief called Iper, so
right.
I believe that's where you get the Iping name from.
So Dave, you brought me down to a very nice looking house, but you tell me that this house is not as big as it used to be.
No, this is Iping House, which was where the Lord of the Manor of Iping used to live. The house you see today, or the original house, was 4 times the size that it is.
Right.
There was a manor house way back in 1086. The chap Admiral Hamilton bought it in the 1800s, and he made it his sort of family home. It eventually became a hotel in the 1930s.
Good heavens.
And then it became derelict just after the war, and that's when most of it was demolished, and you just got what you see now is remaining. But funny, as we were coming past the path from Stedham to Iping, we passed the coach house, which would have been attached to this manor.
We did, yes.
Yeah.
And a beautiful coach house there.
Yeah.
Unsure of the of the date.
And it's right by
Another bridge, Iping Bridge.
Yeah.
Fantastic. This is slightly bigger than the Stedham Bridge.
It is, yes. And once again, there was a mill not far away. It's demolished now, but again, it was a mill primarily used for making blotting paper. Although it was destroyed in a fire, they rebuilt a mill that was used for corn milling, but so there's nothing left of it now.
Dave, you're not Dave, you're Logan.
Oh, thank you.
Bless. We've arrived at Iping Church.
Yes, this is the end of our walk, Iping Church. Built in 1190 originally, but the building you see today was mainly built 1885. There was something I meant to mention earlier. Remember the H.G. Wells and the Invisible Man?
Yes.
Well, that was based on Iping. I think right at the beginning you get the bandaged man comes into the village of Iping that's mentioned in the book. Although I believe H.G. Wells, when he wrote the book, although he called it Iping, he actually based the village on Harting, which isn't too far away.
Oh right, how interesting.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, we've come to the end of another fantastic walk. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, lovely.
We've been lucky with the weather, and we've been lucky with the amazing scenery.
We have.
We've even been spotted and recognised en route.
Hey, famous.
International fame and stardom. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, like, all the usual stuff. Leave a comment, tell us what you think. If you know somewhere you think it was worth me going, let us know. In the meantime, thank you, Logan. I think Logan's getting hungry now. And there we go. One more kiss. No.
I must let you know, he's been after one of Richard's, what do you call them, fluffy microphones.
The fluffy, yes.
All the walk.
All the walk. You think it's a toy, don't you? It isn't. Thank you, Dave.
Not at all.
And we'll see you on the next one. Until then, I'm having a head wash.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.